all of us are different. And we all think differently, and we all have our own different perspective. Maybe the women in your immediate family or in your neighborhood did not see the value in you. That doesn't mean the women in some other state or another school or maybe another country are not going to see the value in you. You have to feel like you are enough. You have to feel like you are worthy of these stuff. And if you have trauma based on your gender, your race, or culture, maybe it's even religion, it's something you have to address. You can't just run away from it and go to the other camp. Hello, my wonderful gems. How are you? I hope you're doing amazing. If you're a returning gem, welcome back. If you're new here, hello, how are you? Make sure you subscribe to the vibe. And if you like what you're listening to, then please feel free to like and subscribe to this channel. Okay, so we're just going to jump into the story. All right, so the title of the story is My Friend Group Wants to Have a Guys' Night Out Without Me. How do I get over being upset? All right, so I'm a 25-year-old woman, and I'm the only girl in my current friend group with 3 other men. We've been friends for a long time. My friends want to hang out together and have a quote-unquote guys' night without me. I understand, but at the same time, I don't. I'm an original member of our group, and I don't understand why it should matter if I'm there or not. It hurts that they all want to hang out without me. How do I get over it? All right. So we're just going to jump into the advice. I don't think it's a big deal that they want to hang out without you. Obviously, like, people have guys' night, girls' night together, but my advice isn't even going to be directed at the fact that you are the only girl in an all-guy friend group. It's just, why did you pick a friend group where you were the only girl in an all-guy friend group? I guess that's what it's just like, huh? What happened? Do you not like hanging around women? It's just like something that just perked up my ear. I'm the type of person who's been in several friend groups, but I don't think I've ever been in an all-male friend group. I've been in a mixed friend group with men and women, all women, but I've never been the only girl in an all-male friend group. So I'm definitely out of my element with this, but it's just like, why are you the only girl in an all-guy friend group? Or do you want to be the only girl in an all-guy friend group? I know some girls are like that. They want to be the only girl in a friend group, and they don't want other girls to be there. But if that's the case, I don't know. It's kind of bizarre. It's a little bit bizarre. Because if that's the case, then I guess what kind of traumatic event do you feel like will happen if there's another girl in there? Because if there was another girl, honestly, you could have just gone and hung out with her. But now you are isolated from your friends. You feel alone, and you feel like they might be hiding something from you when they're probably going to go pick up girls. Who am I kidding? It's just like, this is an all-male friend groups in their 20s. It's just, they're probably going to go to the bar or the club or like pick up girls, and they don't want you around. Like, I think that's, or maybe they want to talk about stuff that they think you might not be receptive to, or you might not completely understand because you are a woman. I think people should have a plethora of friends, regardless of gender, regardless of culture, regardless of where they come from. And I think in making those connections with those people, that is how you are going to be able to grow. You are going to be able to just learn about different cultures or about people or just a different gender. The fact of the matter is, even though men and women are equal, like here, everybody's equal, okay? Even though men and women are equal, they do experience life differently. And I'm not saying this is better, this is worse, but it's just they do experience life differently. My experience as a woman with other women and with men is not going to be the same as a man's experience with other women and other men. And this is regardless of sexual orientation or attraction or whatever. It just is what it is. The fact that I was born in a vessel that would be identified as female, my experience is just going to be different than that of a man's. And his is going to be different than mine. Does that mean his is better, mine is worse, mine is better, mine is worse? That's up to the society. If it's a patriarchal society or matriarchal, or just if it's like an egalitarian. That is where we can talk about those. But the experience is just going to be different regardless. Okay. So don't feel bad that they don't want you in their guys' night out. They're obviously going to do something that they think is for boys only. For boys only. Because of how they were raised in this society, which most societies nowadays are patriarchal. So we're just going to highlight that. Because of how they were raised in this patriarchal society, and they don't feel like you will be able to understand. I don't know if you're going to be able to understand or not. Obviously, I'm not you, but for them, they don't think you will be able to understand, or you might not enjoy yourself while they're out. And you know, it's always crappy when you go out, you want to do your own thing, and then you have that one person that is just in the mood. It just brings the whole thing down. I'm not saying you will, but from their perspective, they don't think you will understand. That is why they're excluding you. And the second thing that I really wanted to focus on, because that was like the light bulb moment that went on my head. Why don't you have female friends? Or this can be your main friend group. But if you had another group with other people, then you would just go hang out with them. It's just, I feel like even though the story is brief, it tells a lot about who this person is and where she stands in life. For example, if you're the type of person who has multiple friend groups, if one friend group doesn't ask you out, you just go hang out with another friend group. It won't be a big deal. But the fact that she's writing this, it's like, I feel like there's a nerve that is being hit. And obviously that nerve is being left out, not being accepted. But I don't even think that nerve is related to men. I think that nerve is related to women. And this is me projecting, okay? The story was brief, but I'm just going based on how I've seen some people act. It's just that I've seen so many girls. Like I said, I've heard of girls just wanting to be the only girl in a friend group. And I just never understood that. But then once I was able to talk to them and I was able to understand them, I was like, oh, she had trauma with other girls. And she just feels like hanging out with the guys is easier and it's better. And she doesn't have to put in all the work, or there's no catty feelings with the guys. But the thing is, regardless of whether you are one of the guys, quotation marks, you're still going to be a woman when it comes to society at large. Your friend group might be all boys, and they might make you feel included, like one of the boys. At the end of the day, you are a woman. In this society, in this patriarchal society, you are a woman. And even though those guys are going to make you feel welcome, make you feel accepted, make you feel all of that, there are going to be a point when they will not make you feel welcome, not make you feel accepted, and basically make you feel excluded. Because at the end of the day, under patriarchy, regardless of how well you hang with the guys, you're one of the guys, you are a woman. That is not going to change. Well, for now, in this day, whenever I'm going to be posting this, it's not going to change. And I've seen a lot of girls just, instead of identifying the trauma, because sometimes it can be trauma, okay? Sometimes female friendship, like I've told you guys this before, the most fulfilling and amazing friendships I've ever had in my entire life have been with women. The most detrimental, nasty, completely disgusting relationships I've had in my entire life are also with women. It's not even with men. You want to know why? Because I am a woman. The way I'm going to navigate the world, but I am a woman who identifies as a woman, so just clarify. The way I'm going to navigate the world is going to be different from a man on the patriarchy, or just, even if it was matriarchy or whatever, it's just going to be different because I'm in a different vessel. It's just going to be different. And the way women are going to interact with me is going to be different than the way that same interaction will be with men. It's just going to be different. That is how our society is built. That is how we have that's how we're into the mess we are right now. Okay. So with women, because of that proximity and that association of us all being women, we are going to have a certain closeness together. And with that closeness, we might feel like, oh, she might be a girl, but I don't like the type of girl she is. And listen, most women are going to be vindictive to other women, and most men are going to be vindictive to other men. Most of the time. Not all the time, because obviously incels are a thing. But most of the time, if you are a guy, I'm pretty sure your hardest relationships are going to be with guys. And your most acceptable relationships are going to be with guys. Because that's kind of how, I guess that's kind of where my perspective is coming from. I'm a woman. I was born a woman, identify with being a woman, and my best relationships have always been with women, and my worst relationships are also going to be with women. Women, just based on the fact that I am a woman, and there is that proximity to womanhood and what it means to be a woman, blah, 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 all of that. So even though the guys have accepted you as one of their own, under the veil of patriarchy or the veneer of patriarchy, you are still a woman. Okay? Even though we are equal as genders, we are still different. That difference is going to show up in cases like this. I'm not saying they don't want you to be there because of... I don't know these guys, okay? I don't know why they don't want you to be there, but obviously there's a reason why they feel like you should not be in this kind of environment. It might be a dangerous environment for you and they want to protect you. I don't know. They're your friends. I'm hoping you have good friends who actually care about you like that, okay? But based on their judgment, they don't think this will be an environment that is fit for you, which is why they don't want to invite you. And that's just kind of the reality of life. And if you have gone through a trauma, whether it's with the gender you associate with, for example, if you're a girl, you associate with being a girl, or you were not a girl, but now you associate with being a girl, and you feel like the people in that, I don't even want to say gender. Is it sex or gender? Anyway, the people who are also labeled as girls do not accept you, or if you're a boy or you're a man, you've been born a man, you associate with being a man, or you went out a man, now you associate with being a man, and you feel like the people in that gender are not accepting you, it is going to be very traumatic. And sometimes you might want to go to the other gender to get that acceptance. But the thing is, how do I say this? I don't want to be mean, because I don't believe in being mean and in being harsh, but I do believe in being truthful and being honest. But the thing is, we're socialized differently. We are socialized differently. From a young age, we are socialized differently. We are socialized on navigating the world differently. And there are plenty of studies out here when parents were told this was a girl child, they kept talking about her appearance or how she's pretty. And when they were told it was a boy child, they encourage stuff that involve independence and just being able to take care of themselves. We are raised differently, and this is from infancy. And these are not stuff that are just going to change at the drop of a hat. So, long story short is, I'm not sure how you will be fully accepted if you go to the other gender. I don't know how that works. I've never been in that position, so I don't know. If you have, please let me know in the comment section below. Maybe I'm off. But because of how we are socialized as people, and because of tribal mentality that most people tend to have, whether it's a gender tribe or a class tribe or race tribe, I just don't know how you will fully integrate with the other gender when you've been rejected by the gender you associate with. Am I making sense? I hope I'm making sense. And if that's the case, you need to address that trauma you've had with either the women in your life who have made you feel as if you're not enough, or the men in your life who have made you feel like you're not enough. Because I think all of us are different. And we all think differently, and we all have our own different perspective. Maybe the women in your immediate family or in your neighborhood did not see the value in you. That doesn't mean the women in some other state or another school or maybe another country are not going to see the value in you. And obviously, this is a very difficult topic. It's something that is so nuanced, something that I don't have the bandwidth to really talk about, but it's just something that I have seen so much, and I've just wondered, it's like, you have to feel like you are enough. You have to feel like you are worthy of these stuff. And if you have trauma based on your gender, your race, or culture, maybe it's even religion. It's something you have to address. You can't just run away from it and go to the other camp. Am I making sense? I don't know. I hope I'm making sense. I hope that's not what's going on here. But when I just read that thing, that was like the first thing that came to my mind. But then again, that was the first thing that came to my mind because of the people I've been around with. So my environment. So it might not be. Maybe it's just something that is just like, does not need this level of analysis. But it's just like, but if you do have trauma with your gender or the gender you associate with, it is something you need to talk about. It's something you need to talk about with someone, probably a therapist. But it's also something that you need to know that just because these people who are also a representation of your gender have rejected you, that doesn't mean the entire gender is going to reject you. No. Hi. And I kind of forgot to mention this, but going back to the incel thing, that when I was saying the gender who you will have most difficulties with are going to be the gender you associated with. But going back to the incel thing, the whole reason why they even hate women is because the men have rejected them. And in men world, obviously I'm not a part of it. In men world, women are currency. The more women you've been with, the more women you have, the more leg up you have in the men world. And because they have none, they have been rejected by other men. So the hatred on women isn't even because of women. It's misguided anger because of the men who have rejected them. And yes, there's also probably elements of patriarchy, feeling that men are superior than women, blah, blah, blah. But basically going back to the advice, if you are rejected by the gender you associate with, it is going to be a lot. It is going to be traumatic. But it's still something that you should look into and try as much to find other men, if you're a man, or other women who are going to be able to understand you, because not everyone in one gender all thinks the same. All women think differently and all men think differently. And limiting yourself to associating women with this and men like this, you're basically doing the exact same thing that those people who rejected you did to you. They associated you with these negative traits, which is why they rejected you. And now you're doing the exact same thing. The cycle just keeps going round and around. But if you're open-hearted and open-minded, and this doesn't mean you just take crap from people. No, if they're vile, disgusting people, regardless of gender, just cut them out. But you need to be open-minded and open-hearted to be able to see where people are coming from and to be able to give people a chance and not just write them off because of their gender. That's just what I think. Okay. After that really, really long rant, thank you so much for spending your day with me. And please let me know what you thought in the comment section below. As usual, we get our stories from our website, which is kitchentableadvice.com. This one's actually from Reddit, not the website. But we usually get our story from our website, which is kitchentableadvice.com. That's where we get most of our stories, as well as business inquiries. Our website also has a plethora of other stuff. We have blogs where I just talk about anything and everything. We have art that I have labeled weird contemporary art, as well as poems that just take a turn. So if that interests you, then please feel free to visit the website. And again, thank you so much for spending your time with me, and I'll see you next week. Bye.